Welcome to New Mexico Restaurants Now, where we get you the inside scoop on the food scene across New Mexico. This episode is sponsored by the Hand Solution, providing high-quality hand sanitizer at a competitive price. Stay tuned to the end to hear about their special offer. I'm Carol White, CEO of the New Mexico Restaurant Association, and our guest today is Russell Hernandez with Salud de Mesilla, just outside of Mesilla, New Mexico, near Las Cruces. Salud is paving the way for new adventures in flavor with unique culinary creations and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere. Welcome, Russell.
Thank you, Carol. Great to be here.
So fun to have you. Russell is a good friend. He's been on the New Mexico Restaurant Association board for a couple of years now, and he has a restaurant very close to where I used to have a restaurant. So we're old buds. So I want you to tell me about Salud as though you're painting a picture for me.
Well, that's a fun one,
Yeah.
And so let me give it to you kind of like how I do in orientation, because I get animated in orientation. So Salud. What the most common thing is where'd you come up with the name? So it's multifaceted, really. So we came up with the name because we were sitting around a table quite years before, and having a glass of wine, and Salud, we're gonna open a restaurant, kind of that kind of idea. But really, it's from the old namesake TV show Cheers. So we put our own little twist on it, and that's kind of what we wanted to carry in to the restaurant itself, where everybody knows your name and it's just a great atmosphere all around. We do have our Norm that sits at our bar and has a great time. His name's Phil. He's an awesome, but we have all our characters, so it's just a great time. Salud is definitely when I say it's multifaceted, it's, we wanted to create something unique and something fun and exciting for our little town here in southern New Mexico, and right outside of Las Cruces. We have a tagline that is where unforeseen surprises await you. And that tagline in particular, we try to carry out through 3 different areas that are extremely important to being a successful business, in our opinion. And that's having a unique and fun atmosphere, as I just told you, so when you walk into Salud, you get a different type of atmosphere. We have different textures in every single room. You walk around a corner and it's a completely different feeling in every single room. Pennies on the wall, wood, like you see behind me on the walls here, different textures. Then it carries on into the next step where, we have our fun and exciting menu. That's where we love to have fun. We wanted to make sure that we had food that was available for everybody across the entire table. So if my mom came or my grandmother came, she'd probably want some traditional food such as enchiladas, tacos, things like that. My mom, if she was joining at the table too, she might want something like a hamburger, maybe American food. She might get a little crazy and put some green chili and cheese on there, but that's about as crazy as she gets. Then you have my generation, or the generation that loves the food and loves to play, where we love a mishmash of fun flavors, doing the sweet and salty and sour and spicy, or, we're playing with food like jackfruit or octopus, those uncommon foods that you really see. And so we like to have a little bit of fun across the entire table with our menu. We do, Salud does have a different meaning as well. Its literal meaning is to your health, right? So Salud, to your health. So we try to focus on healthy options and availability within our menu. Not necessarily the most healthy with some of the products that we use, but I will say our main thing is focusing on dietary restrictions, where we have the availability of a large gluten-free menu, a vegan, vegetarian menu, and we'll tailor the menu items to suit dietary restrictions and dietary needs, so as best as we can accommodate. And then, of course, the last pivoting part of that 3-step part of providing an excellent experience where unforeseen surprises await you is exceptional service. And that's where we really follow through with the TV show and getting to know your name. We want to get to know you on a personal level. We want you to feel like family when you write them as the minute you walk in the door and the minute that you leave, thinking, wow, that was an amazing experience and I can't wait to come back. So that's a little about Salud and kind of where we are, what we do, and how we kind of have a little bit of fun.
That painted a great picture. And I just have to tell everybody, I have been to your restaurant many times. It's one of my frequent stops when I'm in southern New Mexico. And because I'm gluten-free, I love your restaurant. I mean, you do a calamari that's gluten-free that is just, thank you, thank you, thank you, because I don't get that unless I go someplace like your restaurant. So so tell us about the food. Tell us about the menu. What's your favorite menu item? Let's start there.
Oh, that's a tough one because there's so many great things, you know. I mean, I grew up in the area, so anything that we infuse green chili with is probably one of my favorites, you know. Our green chili mac and cheese with a little bit of our jalapeno bacon and our chimichurri marinated steak. If we're gonna go all out, one of our, you know, my newest favorite, I would say, that we've been playing around is called ridiculed collie. And so I have. It's just a fun name, you know.
Yeah, what is it?
Do a play on words as well, you know, where we can, when we can in the menu. So we're taking this whole head of cauliflower, and you know, we're slow roasting it, basting it while we're roasting it. Then we just give it a little flash fry just to give it a little crispy on the outside. We top it with a little bit of za'atar, so that African seasoning that has a little bit of sumac, give it a little floral note. And then a little bit of sriracha aioli to go with it as well, to dip that cauliflower. So it's one of those things that's just, oh my gosh, it's just great.
I mean, my mouth is watering. You're doing a great job explaining this. So what's your customer's favorite menu item? What sells the most?
I would say, you know, there's a probably two different things that are our guest favorite. And that's one thing I'll say is that, you know, I'm a big proponent of having a guest rather than a customer, just because I have guests in my home, so therefore I have guests in my restaurant. Walmart has customers, and you know, every time I walk into Walmart, I kind of get that angry look, you know. So, but I have guests. So excuse me if I say guests.
No, that's great.
But you know, our guests probably, you know, the green chili and asadero burger is probably one of their favorite items that is constantly ordered, as well as our pescado tacos or fish tacos, where we're taking a beer battered cod, putting a little bit of a sweet and spicy serrano aioli, some pickled vegetables, and a little bit of microgreens on top to finish it off. That's what people have really been loving. So.
Okay, again, my mouth is watering. I can't wait to get down there again. So tell me where you are. Where is the location of your restaurant? Get me there from the closest highway.
You know, so we're located at 1800 Avenida de Mesilla. The easiest way is when you're going on I-10, you're going to take the Avenida exit and go towards, you're going to go south towards a little town called Mesilla. We're on the right-hand side, right before you get into the town, bright yellow building. You can't miss us. There's also forks that are outside the building that you can't miss there as well, that kind of point you in the right direction.
Large forks. Look for large forks, right? All right. So where did you guys get inspired for your food and for your atmosphere? We've heard some of that, but what made you finally take the plunge into the business?
The plunge. Well, so I've been in the industry for over 20 years now. I started off on an internship in high school, and then kind of slowly moved myself up. I was a manager, managing a department before I even graduated high school, which is kind of crazy and fun at the same time. So the responsibility of running an operation was definitely in my blood. I went to school, got my degree in outside of hospitality, amazingly, and decided once I got out of it for a year or two that I missed the people aspect so much. So I jumped back into it. And with that in mind, you know, that's I work for, you know, the small restaurant, mom and pop restaurant. I work for franchise business, and then large corporate was one of my biggest ones. And that's where I learned a lot of my background in restaurant operations in particular, and strong restaurant operations. And then, you know, we had the opportunity to open our own business. And I say we, because it's my partner, Chris Schaljo and myself, who own the restaurant. Chris is not just my partner in business, he's also my partner in life. So imagine going to work day in, day out with your spouse, going home. I mean, I guess in the restaurant industry, we kind of all do that anyway.
I was going to say I did that for 20 years, so I kind of get it. And I'll tell you what, it's actually a nicer thing, because for a while I worked a day job, and then my husband worked in restaurants, and we literally never saw each other for weeks on end. So I will say that I think I liked working together more than I liked working apart, but we had fun. So.
Yeah, we always have fun, and I think that's what's great. So the thought of the restaurant, getting back to your original question, which I apologize.
That's okay.
There's that tangent. That's what happens. So we had the opportunity to open our own business. Chris was still working another job at the time, so I was at the restaurant full time, working all of the hours, and then when he wasn't at his other job, he was at the restaurant helping out. We kind of got the idea and the influence from a lot of saving, a lot of personal commitment into it. That's the way that great businesses start. And then the menu ideas. We'd love to travel. We love to go here, there, and everywhere, and that's still the case to today. And every time we go someplace, we want to try something new that we haven't tried. We're both constantly looking at menu trends, menu reports, and seeing what's going on, not just in the nation, but throughout the entire world, and seeing what's happening, what's trending, and what people are having fun with. So we'll take that and we'll put our own little twist on it, and just have fun, or find a fun ingredient and see what we can do with it, and just have a great time, make that unforeseen surprise.
Nice. So what corporation did you work for?
So I used to work for my large corporation was Darden Restaurants. So in particular, Olive Garden. So I worked for Olive Garden up in Albuquerque, and then I helped open the Olive Garden when it was being opened down here in Las Cruces. So I was one of the opening managers there.
And I've always told people, if you want to go into the restaurant business, get some of that chain corporate experience, because they've got the systems that you got to learn. You got to know them anyway. And I did not do this. That's why I'm always jealous of people who had that experience. Is I didn't have, the corporate background in order to help me figure out what the systems were. And I had some great friends in the restaurant industry. One of my dear friends, who was a manager of a Village Inn, just helped me with everything. So, and that's how we are in the restaurant industry. We're very helpful to each other. So,
no doubt.
Tell me a little bit about your biggest challenge this year, and maybe how you met it and how you're doing. Because this is 2020. I even hesitate to say that word. I cannot wait till 2020 is over, and I only have about 15 more days of it. But tell us how, you've fared during 2020.
2020. I think that, the industry as a whole has taken a huge toll. So, my story is probably not going to be very much different from any of my other fellow restaurateurs. It's hard. It's been a very, very challenging year all around. Chris and I, just to share a little bit of how 2020 was supposed to happen and how Corona in general is, Chris and I were supposed to get married, and we were leaving to go get married in a different country. It was, we were scheduled for March 21st. And then here we are getting ready to board on a plane on, I think it was March 16th. And, that's when we were supposed to take off. And I'm talking to other family members where we're supposed to go. And they're saying, you don't want to come down here. They're getting ready to close the borders. You don't want to do that. So we canceled our wedding. And that same week, it was it was a whirlwind, so, and I knew that that something was going on and something was going to be happening very quickly. And then, we didn't go, thank goodness, because who knows what would happen if we would have gone down and been locked into place and not able to come back. But that same week, I had to lay off my entire team of 35, and then shut my business down to doing curbside only, not knowing how that was going to fare. I had a week and a half plus of product that I had already ordered on hand, sitting in inventory because I was planning on being gone. And doing minimal orders while I was gone overseas. So, just those little things. So it's kind of the craziness of it all, right at the very beginning. I will say that, here in Las Cruces or in southern New Mexico is that, we're very tight knit. Well, that's New Mexico in general. We're a very tight knit community. And we want to support each other. So the community came out in force to help to support my business in particular, as well as other local businesses where we could. We created some programming to try to keep the lights on and the rent paid, and I was able to slowly bring a few people back little by little. With our to-go sales and what we were doing there, or the curbside sales, and then it's just been challenging. Just to give me kind of an insight.
At the least challenging, right? And I do want to say that I have used your restaurant's example. You all put together what you called quarantine kits in the beginning of the pandemic. And this was a time when people couldn't get eggs because people had shopped them out. They couldn't get toilet paper. They couldn't get a lot of other things. And you put together these kits that I thought were just extremely creative. And I wish I had been in your neighborhood because I would have come and got, each one of each of them. But talk about that a little bit, because I think you did get very creative. And I think people, are willing to support creativity too.
Yeah, then that's one of the pluses on our side is that we even though we had to close and we had our menu and we reduced our menu quite a bit from what we would normally do, we had to get creative to keep the doors open, if you will. So that's where we created those quarantine kits. So in the kit, it was basically a week's worth of food that we had created. Or put together. So we had put in, we had a what we called a breakfast in bed. So it was, I think it was 3 dozen eggs along with 7 pounds of bacon, and we had a roll of English muffins, jams, jellies, butters, orange juice, cranberry juice. That was your breakfast in bed, if you will. So you can cook it at home at your leisure, however you wanted to. We had a date night in there. Where we had a couple of filet mignons, a couple of strip steaks, some little mini potatoes, broccolini, fixings to make a couple of salads. If we could have included a bottle of wine, that would have been great. We're getting there though. We'll get there. See, there goes that other tangent. But that was a different one. Then we had a burger night where we had, it was a dozen burger patties that were formed along with the burger buns, little bags of chips, all the fixings to go on the burgers so that you could do a little home barbecue kind of deal with your family, of course, that type of deal. So those were our quarantine kits. Then we also did the family packs and did daily specials with family packs where we did like prime rib, where you could get a family pack to feed 1 person, 2 people, or 4 people. And that really helped out a lot doing the family pack deals and having those rotating daily specials. So
is all that still working for you? Because, New Mexico is, of course, the most locked down state in the nation at 25% outdoor dining in the middle of winter. So are you still having success with some of those creative takeout items?
Most definitely. So we when we were able to reopen the restaurants the first time and kind of having the indoor dining and as well as patio dining, we saw a downtick in our curbside as well as, the quarantine kits. And people were dining in, which was great, so then it was that shift, if you will. And then we had to shut back down. So then now we've seen the shift back to the curbside ordering. We left our full menu intact though, rather than reducing the menu from where it was. And I think that our guests are really appreciating that there's more availability and more choices than there were before. We do have our family packs available. Sorry, I had a lapse moment there. It happens.
It does.
We have our family packs available still, and then instead of doing the quarantine kits in particular, we created an offshoot of our business that we call Crate to Fork, where we're actually doing individual frozen meats and such as individual frozen steaks, individual frozen fish. I have the eggs. I have all the necessities available for people to purchase directly from the restaurant, but it's under a different business through the restaurant. That way, people can kind of run that way if they need that kind of product.
So, and then I remember, I think I was talking to you either the day before Thanksgiving or right around there, and you said you were going crazy getting Thanksgiving dinners out the door. Is that correct? And are you taking orders for Christmas now?
We are. So we were open, but that's one of the things is that, a lot of businesses aren't open for the holidays. We decided that our first year that we wanted to be open for the holidays, or we were closed our first Thanksgiving, I should say. And then once we reopened after Thanksgiving, I had so many regulars that we had already built after opening the restaurant that came to me and said, we wish that you were open. We would have come and seen you. I had one regular she had just lost her husband, and she said, the kids didn't come into town. You're like family to me. I just wanted to come and see you. And I said, why don't you just tear at my heartstrings? I'll be open for Christmas just for you, or you're coming to sit at my table. One way or the other, we're going to get you taken care of. And we kept hearing more and more stories like that leading up to Christmas. So we decided that we were going to open on the holidays in particular. So we are open this coming Christmas day, shortened hours. And we'll be offering our full menu, taking pre-orders. We'll have prime rib available as well. Kind of like the Thanksgiving deal that we did. So.
Well, good. I think as I see folks, I know you're going to be a survivor in this, as difficult as it is, because you are staying creative and hopeful. And I know, a lot of us are about out of hope, but hopefully we'll get through this, and we'll do it together. Is there anything else you'd like to tell folks about you or your restaurant?
I think that you hit it right there, is that, we are, as restaurants, we're a community. So we support each other, while the community supports each other. I'm constantly on the phone, if I'm not in a Zoom or I'm cooking on my line, I'm on the phone with another restaurateur here in town, here, there, everywhere, asking them how their business is going, what's going on. How's their week? Keeping them going. If they need the extra help, then I try to give some suggestions to try to, throw out different ideas, what's going to help them to potentially do in social media marketing, to special, or, what's working for me at the given point in time, if it's working for me, or, if maybe it's a down tick for me and maybe it's an uptick for them. So I want to find out what's working great for them. So it's hands helping hands, the community helping the community, and together, just like you said, we're in it and we'll get through it. And we appreciate everybody that's out there more than anything.
Yeah. Well, and it's a lovely community. Having lived there for 20 years, it is really a fabulous community. Well, thank you, Russell, so much for being on the podcast today. And I need to thank our sponsor, The Hand Solution, who provides high quality hand sanitizer and disinfectant at a competitive price. Order your NMRA restaurant kit today at thehandsolution.com/NMRA. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, to New Mexico Restaurants Now. You can watch this and other episodes on the New Mexico Restaurants Now YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to the audio podcast at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Thanks to the Hand Solution for sponsoring this episode, and thank you, Russell, for being on.
Thank you, Carol. Appreciate you.